Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nurhidayah binti Rosli. Now I will present about the company background. For your information, IJM Corporation Berhad is one of the company that listed in Bursa Malaysia, and the name of IJM Corporation Berhad is taking the name of I stand for IGB Construction Sendian Berhad was incorporated in 1981. J is for Juru Utama Sendian Berhad was incorporated in 1970, and M is for Muda Jaya Construction Sendian Berhad. To better reflect the group's diversified nature of activities, the present logo and a new name IJM Corporation Berhad was adopted in 1989. For your information, the core business activities encompass construction, property development, manufacturing and quarrying, infrastructure and concessions, and plantation. And for your information, the headquarters of IJM Corporation Berhad is located in Selangor, Malaysia. The result of merger between three medium-sized local constructions company, IGB Construction Sendian Berhad, Juru Utama Sendian Berhad, and Muda Jaya Sendian Berhad, IJM, was formed in 1983 to compete more effectively against bigger foreign rivals. Thank you.
To consider having a segment reporting. Segment reporting is the reporting of the reporting segment of a company in the disclosure accompanying its financial statement. Segment reporting is required for publicly held entities and is not required for privately held entities. Segment reporting is intended to give information to investors and creditors regarding the financial result and position of the most important operating units of a company, which they can use as the basis for decision related to the company. The two or more operating segments may be combined and reported as one if certain conditions are satisfied. Under MFRS 8, they allows all the entities to aggregate similar operating segment if they meet the criteria. The criteria that should be followed is the segment have similar long-term financial performance, segment have similar economic characteristic, segment have similar in the respect of the nature of product, nature of production process, type of class of customer, method to distribute their product, and the nature of regulatory of environments. In this company, they have six segment. They have six type of segment. First is about the construction, property development, manufacturing and quarrying, plantation, infrastructure, and also the investment and others. The next question is about the identify the chief of decision making, which is CODM, and its responsibility. Okay, segmental reporting is presented to the investor to give view of the management approach in running the company. Operating segments are reported in a manner consistent with the internal reporting that has been regularly reviewed and provided to the CODM. CODM are responsible for allocating resources and assessing performance of the operating segment and make overall strategic decisions. It is Liu Hao Seng, the person in charge of the management and administration direction of the organization. All the senior management executive reported to CEO. CEO is the chief operating officer and usually delegates many of the responsibilities to other seniors, mid-level, and lower level managers, depending on the size of the company. Okay. CEO is responsible for the overall success of a business organization and for making top-level managerial decisions. Moreover, responsibility of the CEO is maintaining awareness of the competitive market landscape, expansion opportunities, and leading the development of the company's short and long-term strategy in providing high-quality services throughout the design construction process. Okay, next is COO, which is Wan Salwani binti Wan Yusuf, the person in charge of day-to-day administration and operation of business. The CEO basically focus on the company's business plan. The CEO report directly to the CEO and is considered as his right hand. Okay, they responsible to the to the safeguarding the financial strength and operating efficiency of the company, as well as ensuring proper measures exist and high quality results are continuously delivered. Okay, last one is Chief Financial Officer, which is CFO, that Datuk Edward Chong Sin Kat. Okay, the CFO, also known as the Financial Director, is in charge of the economic and financial planning of the company. Then, deciding when and where to invest, assessing risk, in order to increase the value of the companies. The responsibility of the CFO is managing the cash flow and financial planning of the company, as well as analyzing the company's financial strength and weakness to propose the corrective action that needs to be done. Besides, they need to ensure that the company's financial report are accurate and completed in the timely manners by managing the managing the financing and accounting divisions. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Now I will present about the segmental report. First, how to identify the reportable segment? If a particular product or service of the entity is significant and constitutes as an identifiable business in which the entity operates, then the product or service would be reported as a separate operating segment. Operating segments are only required to be reportable if they exceed the quantitative threshold 10% test. For 10% threshold test for reportable segment, for reporting purpose, a reportable segment is one that meets any one of the following quantitative threshold. The calculation of the 10% rules can be based on the total revenue or total profit or loss or total asset. For revenue basis, its reported revenues from sales to external customer and inter-segment sales is 10% or more of the combined revenue of all operating segments. In this report, we only focus on revenue test. Okay, let's say IJM Corporation Berhad choose the revenue as the basis. If the total revenue from external and inter-segment is 10% or more of the combined revenue of all operating segments, then it should be reported as reporting segment. However, if it less than 10%, it should be reported as non-reportable segment. Okay, now for calculation for 10% test, you can see on this table. As you can see, only construction, property development, infrastructure and plantation are recorded as reportable segment because exceed the 10%, which are construction is 33.33%, property development 15.95%, plantation 22.55%, infrastructure is 16.96%. Only construction, property development, plantation and infrastructure are recorded as reportable segment, while the other two, manufacturing and acquiring and investment and others, are reported as non-reportable segment because not exceed the 10% test, which is for manufacturing and acquiring is 9.86% and investment and others is 1.35%. Okay, now after determining the reportable segment, the entity should ensure that the total external revenue attributable to those reportable segments is at least 75% of the entity's total revenue. When the 75% threshold is not met, additional reportable segments should be identified even if they do not meet the 10% threshold, until at least 75% of the entity's total external revenue is included in its reportable segments. Okay, now, as you can see here, based on the table, the total revenue from each operating segment will be deducted with the inter-segment to get the external revenue. After that, the amount of external revenue from reportable segment will be totaled up and divided with the total amount of external revenue. And the result is 90.27%, which is more than 75%, threshold test. The combine of the external revenue for construction, property development, plantation and infrastructure is exceed the 75%. The other two, which is manufacturing and quarrying, investment and others, will remain as non-reportable segment and will group together as all other segments category. Therefore, the management need not to identify the additional reportable segment because it satisfies the 75% rules. Based on the table here, this is the new segmental report. It will be separate with two segments, which are reportable operating segment and non-reportable operating segment. As you can see, there is no changes and no need to identify additional reportable segment because it satisfies the 75% rule. Thank you.
For the conclusion, the segment reporting have the advantages and disadvantages. First and foremost, the information that have been provided will be more relevant. It can make users able to look at the performance in the same way as the management, so they can understand better and make an appropriate economic decisions. Besides, the segment reporting also enable users to identify which segment is performed better by comparing their result. It can show the investor which part of the segment that outperform and which segment is valuable to investing. However, the segment reporting lack of clear guideline and regulations. It causes that company may prepare the information according to the internal decisions, which may be different from another company. This will harm the transparency and the compatibility of the financial reporting that cause users not able to compare the information over the times. However, segment reporting have also the disadvantages. Okay, for example, is the cost of preparing the segment reporting is huge high. Since all the listed company need to disclose their profit with extra data and the information that seems to be relevant, we can see that the material items of income and expenses is already generate a high cost. Lastly is segment reporting may not suitable in the case of the business activities are highly interrelated to each other. It is because it may be improper to view the segment individually. It is because the users may miss some of the information and lead them to make a wrong economic decision toward the companies. Thank you.
MFRS 134 specifies the minimum content of interim report, which also include the disclosure and the recognition and also the measurement principles while preparing the interim report. Interim reporting is a financial period, which the period is shorter than a financial year. Interim report either consists of a full set of financial statements as in MFRS 101 or consolidated financial statement as in the standard of MFRS 134. statement as in MFRS 101 consists a statement of financial position, a statement of comprehensive income, a statement of changes in equity, a statement of cash flow, and also the notes of accounting policy, and also the comparative notes of the preceding period. Next, as in the standard of MFRS 134, condensed financial statement consists of a consolidated statement of financial position, a consolidated statement of comprehensive income, a consolidated statement of changes in equity, a consolidated statement of cash flow, and also the selected explanatory note. The basis preparation of the company chosen is in accordance of MFRS 134.
Two accounting policies used in preparing the interim report. First is seasonality or cyclicality of operations. Revenues that are received seasonally or cyclically within a financial year should not be anticipated or deferred as of an interim date if anticipation or deferral would not be suitable at the end of financial year. For instance, if significant revenues are expected in the current financial year's final quarter, those revenues will not be accrued in the first 3 quarters but will be recognized in the final quarter. Otherwise, if the present quarter generates slightly more revenue, the revenues will not be deferred to subsequent quarters. In IJM Corporation Berhad, the core business activities of the group is encompass construction, property development, manufacturing and quarrying, infrastructure concessions and plantation. Second is material changes in estimates. In comparison to annual financial reports, the preparation of interim financial reports usually generally requires a greater use of estimation methods. The measurement procedures to be used in interim financial reports must be intended to ensure that the resulting information is accurate and that all relevant material information is reported. In IJM Corporation Berhad, management's crucial judgment and key estimates in applying the group's accounting policies were consistent with those used in the financial statements of the group.
IJM Corporation Berhad used the type of condensed financial statement as their interim report, which consists of For statement of financial position, the comparative period is at the end of preceding financial year, which is on the 31st March 2020, while the current period is at the end of interim period, which is on 30 June 2020. For statement of comprehensive income, statement of cash flow, and statement of changes in equity, the comparable interim period is on 1st April until 30 June 2019, while the current interim period is on the 1st April until 30 June 2020.
Two adjustments made by the company to be included in the interim report. First is provisions, second is lease liabilities, and third is derivative financial instrument. Extraction of the financial statement to show the effect before and after adjustment. As we can see on quarter 1, provision is 2,476, lease liabilities 11,870, and derivative financial instrument is 3,236. While on quarter 4, provision is 3,113, lease liabilities 12,292, and derivative financial instrument is 2,474.